rather like ourselves. That's self-deprecating humour, man.
Yeah, it's very good. You've nailed it.
That was pretty off the cuff as well. You know, I write my own material. You know, because in the US they're bombastic. It's very true. UK trains dim or not working amounts to the same thing. Are there sparks? There aren't sparks, but sparks is an interesting story. You had to hammer the brake on there, son.
I did. I came in very hard.
So we've got all of the science. So the technical hookups to make sparks appear at the right moment, but the graphical team ran out of time to actually deploy them. So that's one of the things that we might be able to attend to. Keep your eye on the roadmap for that being added, because that's the kind of thing we'd love to add. And you reckon it shouldn't be that difficult, right?
Based on what's already been done, no. I think the
engineering
team have already done the hard work.
Sparky graphic stuff.
Yeah, it's just getting a good sparky effect. All we've got at the moment is some dev art.
Can I repeat the Peninsula Corridor thing again? You can do better than that. If you head over to the Dovetail forums, all the information about when things are releasing is posted there, so you don't have to scribble down what I say on a notepad. You can go and read it. But Peninsula Corridor was available as part of the collector's edition on disc, right? Which means you don't own it digitally, you own it on disc. Someone's asking if there'll be a season pass. No, we don't do season passes. What's not being mentioned tonight? All of the things that I do mention will be mentioned. Things that aren't being mentioned won't be.
That's a fairly it's an exhaustive list of all the things, really.
That is all the things. Good. Right. If you'd like to know when the game comes out, watch the start of the stream. About 10 minutes in. I go over it twice, so there's no excuses for missing there. No, I realise some people turn up a little late, but to avoid repeating myself over and over and over again, I will do a reminder in 30 minutes' time. There you go. Right, there you are. Good. We've got someone who's decided that the HUD is actually growing on them. It will grow on all of you because you have no choice. There you go, that's nice. That's going to make me friends. Yeah, no. Are we on console again? Yes, this evening we're playing on the PlayStation 4 Pro.
Yeah.
And because we wanted to try and make sure we could show off every platform doing its thing, so we did a bit of PC, we've done some Xbox, and now we're doing the PlayStation. And as you can see, it pretty much runs the same on all of them. Pretty much. None of which are fun. No fun reasons were offered as to why sharing is not possible. Does the point system unlock anything? We've talked about this. I got into a heavy conversation with the team on the Train Sim community Discord with regarding to unlocking stuff with points. The short answer is no, it doesn't. But I thought you could go to the Lost Property Office and spend your accumulated points on loot cases. See, that people are left behind. Loot cases. Yeah. You go back to your train. It doesn't cost you anything. You just spend your points on it. And you come back with your loot case and you open it up. And maybe there are bobbleheads. Maybe there's some nice liveries. Maybe there are special passengers in the loot case. All of that kind of stuff. Great stuff. Yeah.
Anthony Ryan, yeah, I'm using D-pad left, D-pad right. That works on the controller on PC as well, and obviously on Xbox. Or you can just press these buttons down here. There isn't a key on the keyboard for doing that, and that is an omission we need to think about. Just before we head on, before we get off onto the next station, I thought I'd just show you this brake test functionality. Now I figured out how it works. So if I put the brake test functionality in on, you get the yellow. What that now wants me to do is to apply the brakes, and the next light will come on to confirm the brakes are not there. So if I just throw it into emergency, it now switches into the next to say, yes, the brakes have now applied. Now I need to put the brakes back into released, and they go to green to confirm they have now properly released. That's just a simple brake test.
Hang on, what? That's fun. I mean, presumably that's something you would do if you were doing a cold startup kind of sequence.
Yes.
And you could do, you can't do, have we got any cold startup scenarios in there? We must have. You love putting a cold start up in just about anything you can get your hands on.
So, no, service mode doesn't have it, and the scenarios don't have them either. There isn't really much in the way of a cold start for these things, to be fair, being electrics. But you do have scenarios where you start in London Road Depot. You have a scenario where you start at London Road Depot, where you're taking a train into service. That would be when you do this sort of thing. And similarly, service mode, there are trains starting at Stonebridge, at London Road. There's one in the Elephant and Castle siding, south of Elephant and Castle. Anything where you're starting, or even when you just take over a service, you could, do a quick test of the brakes like that.
Right. So this has got two different braking systems. What's the difference between the two?
So you've got rheostatic brakes, which are the electro-pneumatic brakes. What they do, so that's what you'll normally be using. They rapidly apply, you get good response as you apply them, because when you apply the brake on there's all sorts of clever funky things that go in. Like, I wasn't aware about this until one of the engineers said, "Oh, have you tried this?" What's that? Oh, it's cool, you should do it. Okay. Setup team do like to put extra functions in the train where they find out how things work. They do like to put extra stuff in.
No, that's good. No, I mean they should continue to do whatever they can. I mean that's true for pretty much everybody in the game, in the team, right? Is if they find themselves with a little bit more time, they go, "Well, I'm going to stick this in."
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
That's how you end up with passenger information screens, isn't it?
Yeah.
They kind of go, "Oh, 2 week delay," you say. We'll sneak those in.
Yeah, I mean, the passenger information screens exist in this release because Ben, our lead engineer, spent a bunch of time a while back in his own time building the source code for integrating with the timetable. And then another guy, Alex, who also did all the 4K work for the consoles, who then worked out how to take Will's, another engineer, LCD code that we did first on the 377 and use that to create scrolling displays on the passenger information system. So it's kind of got all these little projects that people are working in because they're just super passionate about what they're doing, then coalescing together and saying, right, well, what would it take to just finish this bit off? Right, let's just do it. And that's where a 2 week delay in the project happens, so that we can get it squeezed into the project because everyone wants it.
Right. Yes. Yeah. And also, I think the moral of this story is engineers
Engineers are awesome. Artists are
not
awesome.
to be trusted.
Well.
You leave them alone long enough, these things will fly. They'll go, "Oh, I made the Back to the Future train." Kind of go like, "Well, we haven't got a license for that. We can't sell it." And they go like, "And that's not my problem. I've made it anyway for laughs." Good. Right. Oh, there was some more. We need to do a motion blur test, but it's not worth doing until we're moving at speed, right?
No, we need to get some speed. It's pretty unexciting at the moment. It's not really an awful lot to see there.
You can see it a little bit, and the reason it does that is purely down to Unreal Engine not doing rotational blur. I mean, if you think about it, they don't have that much stuff that needs rotate. Well, in fact, because we simulate the wheel actually turning, don't we?
Yeah, the wheel does actually turn.
Yeah. Whereas driving games and so forth, they usually go like, no, we'll use some.
So they spin the wheel up to a certain point, and then the wheel stays spinning at the same speed, even though you're going faster. And they put a blurry texture on the front of it, and they just rotate the blurry texture around, which is ingenious and it looks superb. It's not really appropriate for trains.
You're just sad because you didn't think of it.
I'm well known for being quite bitter about all sorts of things.
Yeah, okay, good. All right, okay, so what are we at the moment? We blur on or blur off?
We are blur on. If you can't tell, that's a bad sign.
Well, I don't know, because I haven't seen it with blur off recently, so I don't know if it's still a bit blurry when it's blurred off.
No. If it's blurred off, there is no blur.
Go on, then. That's fake news. It's still a little bit on the kind of side of things. See, hence my asking. I've looked at it before. Even with blur off, it is still unless you're uncertain whether blur is on or off. Oh, okay, all right, yeah, all right. There's a notable difference.
It's Control F2 on your keyboard if you've got a keyboard.
Yeah. Okay. All right. It's better. not what one might call brilliant, but better nonetheless.
What you lose by turning the motion blur off is the sensation of speed on the track to the side.
Really?
Yeah, because that's the motion blur that's giving you that sensation of speed.
I think it'll be the way I drive. It's the speed that gives me the sensation of the speed, dear boy.
You see, the way I drive it, it's all about believing I'm going fast and not actually going fast.
People think motion blur is bad. Well, yeah, because it is. But we're waiting. We are the ones that are trailblazing for Epic when they turn their attention to Unreal Engine. In fact, they're always turning their attention to Unreal Engine to go, you know what? Let's do rotational blur. All those trains people will be absolutely thrilled.
I disagree. Motion blur is not bad. It's just got areas where it's terrible, and in the vast majority of cases, it's actually I much prefer it switched on. But there are areas where it's terrible. It's a Marmite thing, Matt. It's it's totally a Marmite thing. Yeah, it's not like Bloom though, which is just always bad.
Yeah, where's the kill the Bloom button?
Yeah, there isn't one of them.
Yeah. To do one route in Norway, we did want to do a bunch of stuff in Norway, and that's a decision that is going to be a multi-year decision, because we don't do it all at once. We do it over time. Now, this doesn't mean we're never going to do other countries. As you'll see on the roadmap, both Switzerland, yeah, all right, I know, that's a bit German as well. Apologies to any Swiss people present. And we're also doing La France for the first time in Train Sim World. But that's what it comes down to, is we need to then commit to doing more than just one or two routes in that country. Am I wrong? I'm not wrong, am I?
No. We're trying to do more. I mean, in the case of TGV, technically that's also encompassed by Southeastern High Speed, because that's KVB, TVM 430. The complex cab signalling systems there. The signal assets and so forth are similar to the ones in UI sounds that you can turn off. I don't know if that's that one that just happened there. I don't know if that encompasses that sound. What we can do, however, is go into settings and have a look. There is, it's not dialogue, main menu, maybe it's main menu you have on. Let's turn that one down. It may not be possible, actually.
Ooh, well, we'll find out in the next station, won't we? Someone else asking about the roadmap. Why have we chosen to do routes that are already in Train Simulator? Well, actually, this year it's purely because we've already got research material for it. Normally, we try and gather research material from the route in question in order to better present it when we do the game. And for the last 5 months or so, everyone's been grounded. In fact, the entire team has managed to finish this game off while hidden behind closed doors. We made the decision in April, around 3 weeks, a month into the lockdown period in the UK, that we would complete it with everybody still in isolation, regardless of what changed as far as countrywide rules. So the game was finished with everyone in isolation, but it meant that here's a technical one for you. Why is it that the signal aspect ahead of you, it only ever turns green after you've shut the doors?
Right. So I've seen many discussions about this one, and what I will say is it's actually, even though it looks like it, it's not a signalling limitation. The signalling system is perfectly capable of working correctly. What it is that the way that this shorter timetable is set up is it actually doesn't request the path beyond the station until the doors have closed. Once the load-unload instruction completes, it then gets the next instruction, which is go to somewhere. That is then what triggers the dispatcher. Now, there is a way of doing that properly in the timetable where we can actually tell it to continue the dispatching through that station. However, and this is related to the problems that stop the bigger timetable from working, once you enable that then starts playing all sorts of funny problems with all of the timings and everything else that need to work on this one, particularly because of the passenger information system that's in there. So we opted to leave it off for this timetable, but it is on the next one. So you'll get appropriate signals through. So if you actually get to where you're catching up with another train, which happens a bit more often when there's 20 of them driving around, then I need to come a bit further up. then you will start seeing other aspects. But if there isn't, then you'll just see the greens at the end of each platform.
Gotcha. Okay, I mean, there's some logic to that, even if it feels a little bit implausible in the short term.
Here come all the achievements. 2 achievements.
2 whole achievements. You can tell you've not been rinsing the testing time on the play. In fact, we stole this today, didn't we? I say we, you. I told you to go steal it, and you did. You're like my evil accomplice. I approve of that.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that I'm just a mouthpiece and you actually do the important stuff. So, hey, it's all good. I like to feel like I'm important, even though, I just talk a bit. Okay, good. Right, okay, smashing. What's next? What are you doing? Have we got some shutdown stuff to do, or are you...
Well, I thought you'd go the other way. Just a couple of stations the other way, just to show people that you can just carry on. You don't have to finish the journey there. You can actually shut down the end, walk into
You can keep rolling.
You can just keep on going. Probably want to change this before everyone starts complaining. I'm not saying everyone complains, but... I changed the lights because I'm lazy.
Nice. Where are we going now? Oh, you're going up the other end.
Going up the other end.
You're just going to leave those doors open, are you?
Just going to leave them doors open.
I'm pretty sure that's a safety issue that you possibly shouldn't do.
Probably.
Okay. All right. Yep. The Wolf Boy, it is a top idea. Matt thought it was brilliant. He thought it was the single best thing that had ever happened to train simulation. And it will happen when someone gets to it. That's always the way. Only when someone gets to it. Or you kick them out for starters. Get off my train.
Gone. Get out of my train.
All right, smashing. They'll just slam shut when the train moves. Will they though? Will they?
Well, in other trains we've done, they do. I haven't actually checked
I'd love to
to see
think they would.
This is the audible and warning system. You press the circle key to clear that once you're in the off and release section. And then at this point, we are good to go. We've got the white lights telling us we're clear into the platform.
Look, the lights can be whatever you like, mate. I'm going unless they're red. And if I remember that they're on my side of the track and not the other side of the track. So, there you are. Good. Right, there we go. If you want to know what time the game comes out, why not watch the start of the stream, where about 10 minutes in, because as soon as the countdown finishes, I give you all the times you could possibly need. That'd be nice. Yeah, there you go. Equally, if that's not how you want to do it, you could go to around 40 minutes into the stream, and I tell you it again. There you go. I'll do it again in another 10 minutes, so you can hang on for 10 minutes, and I'll do just that. Yeah, that's what I'll do. It's a thing that will happen. Also, when you finally get hold of the game and you feel like you've played enough of it to make a judgment call, stick up a review. We're very keen to see your reviews. As soon as you think you've played enough to make a judgment on it, stick a review up. We can't wait to see them, frankly, and the more the merrier. So whether you're on console, whether you're on PC, if you're on Steam, stick a review in as soon as you reckon okay, because it's important. It really helps us to instantly measure the is this going the right way.
Someone asked, let me just scroll back a minute. Ollie, how does Simulate work in Scenario Planner? Can I drive end to end without stopping at stations and signals? So if you don't put any AI trains in front of you and you don't tell it to stop at any stations, then you just have an express run from wherever you start to wherever you end, with all green lights.
And you can whiz it around.
Yep.
Ben, the best way to report bugs is to go to the Dovetail game, trying to figure out how to get disc-based versions to be recognised digitally so that people can get preserved collection without any hassle.
Jordan is just one more utter legend in the company.
He's a total legend. But you don't have to give him some duff jobs to do.
He's so good at them.
And you know it. Yeah, there you go. How will the livery designer work on console? In exactly the same way as it does on PC, almost identically. The only difference is, on PC you have to use the keyboard to move stuff around. Would it have killed
Unless
you
you
to
have a
use the
controller.
mouse? Would it have killed you to let me use the mouse? But no, you got to use the keyboard. Whereas on console you get to use the controller. That is literally the only difference.
And you can use a controller on the PC as well.
I will not. The first time I use a controller to play my train simulator is when I can go and get my HOTUS out the back of the cupboard there and plug it all in, and I'll have an actual grip it and rip it handle. I am anxiously awaiting controller support. Anxiously.
You and many people.
Yep.
So let's have someone's saying, can we have a look at the scenario list? So let's have a quick look at the scenario list, and then I'll run one of them. So these are the scenarios. Zone 1 is the one that we're going to do in a minute, or we're not going to do all of it, we'll do some of it, which gets you down onto the underground starting at London Road Depot. Round Hall then takes you from Queen's Park, which is where Zone 1 finishes, from Queen's Park up to Harrow and back to Queen's Park. Travelling the Tube is a southbound service from Harrow to Elephant. Calling all stations is a northbound service from Elephant to Harrow, and then taking stock is a train that you then bring back at the end of the day and stable up in a siding. So it's kind of got it's intended to give a bit of the feeling of a sort of a day in the life through the various scenarios.
Can you reduce the graphic settings when playing on console? So let's say, for example, you are willing to sacrifice scenery quality in order to get your frame rate up into way higher than is actually at all. Is that something you can do?
No, there is actually no tab.
That was after every time I do a very lengthy version of explaining a question, you always go, "No, you can't do that."
No, you can't do that.
I should learn from my mistakes.
Right, so this is London Road Depot at silly o'clock in the morning. The scenarios do have quite a lot, have a fair bit of AI in them, because it's a much more constrained place than service mode, where everything has to work for 24 hours. A scenario, the AI trains have to work for as long as you can see them, essentially.
Tomorrow evening we are doing the launch evening stream where we will do all kinds of stuff, and we'll show you the livery editor. Then Matt will paint some in pink, and then everybody will be happy. We'll also do a lot of mucking about with weather tomorrow and show some of that off. We'll do one each route once at least, and that'll be fun, and there'll be a carnival atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. Someone else asked if they were going to meet more members of the team, and you know what? Yeah. While they're all used to doing video calls, I reckon we should get some of them on.
I totally agree.
We'll do that in the next big company conflab. Is we'll go like, right, you people, naming lights time, come and do a minute on the stream live. I'll ask you a couple of cheeky questions. It'll be very easy.